Would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You would have been present.
Yep.
Mr. Kaiser, are there any additions to the agenda?
Here, there is one addition to the agenda.
I'd like to add item 7A under council business to discuss the cancellation of the second meeting in December, the second council meeting in December.
Okay. All right. Down to the consent agenda. If everybody's had a chance to look at it, I'm open to a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as submitted to us.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passed unanimously. We're down to visitors' appearances and requests. Would anybody in the audience like to speak to the council tonight? Is there anybody on Zoom or on the phone? No council presentations, council business. Item number 6, consideration of council contribution for St. Vincent de Paul. And I sponsored this. And it's on page 35 of our council packet. Now, they did submit, actually, Lori, would you like to come up and speak to this, or would you like me to just take it on?
Either way, get a little bit more information. Potential opportunities that we can use.
Okay. Yeah, please, would you, and then,
You want them to present if they're here
well,
prior to an ask?
I mean, they can.
Generally,
I didn't know if they'd want to. Would you, who's here from St. Vincent de Paul? Rita? Would you like to come up and talk about the request? Yeah. Sorry, I just took for granted that you submitted a request and that it was set in front of us and.
I did submit a request. Is this okay? Can you hear me? Okay. So good evening. I'm Rita McLean Malone, current president of the St. Vincent de Paul Society of Crook County. This evening, joining me are Charlie Kurtz, past president, now current vice president, and Tom McDonald, board advisor. St. Vincent de Paul of Crook County is an entirely volunteer organization, and any volunteer you might happen to meet on the street has a shared passion of serving our neighbors in need. St. Vincent's is the largest food pantry in Crook County, and in addition, we offer emergency services to people who need help with rent or utilities. Recently, the city was generously granted funds to help guests with delinquent water bills, and we are grateful for that support. The need has grown in recent years, and just last month, we all witnessed the suspension of SNAP benefits for a few weeks. As you might imagine, our volunteers were racing to keep up with the need, especially with supplemental food boxes, but also helping some of our guests with delinquent rent and utility bills. In the pantry, we normally have seen 1 to 2 new guests per week. In October, we were seeing 8 to 10 new guests per week. Moving forward, we will serve that many more guests, and we'll be happy to do so, but we are sobered by the amount of need in our community. So in 1977, our pantry began in Prineville in the basement of the Catholic Church and has moved 4 times before landing in the building we occupy on the Madras Highway today. Our local mission statement is Neighbors Helping Neighbors. In Crook County, a recent census revealed that over 16% of the county residents have income below the federal poverty line. This is a public problem. We are hoping that you can help fund some of these programs as St. Vincent de Paul offers a hand up to your neighbors in need. In fiscal year 2024, St. Vincent de Paul supplied 4,860 households with supplemental food boxes. That was nearly a 30% increase over the previous year. Fiscal year 25 had very similar numbers to 24. The emergency services expenditure in fiscal year 2025 was $83,700. By helping these families, we kept 506 adults and 255 children in their homes and utilities connected. In October, just last month, we spent nearly $6,400 on food and about $16,000 on emergency services. Sometimes a former guest has come in and just to say thank you and mentioned that St. Vincent had helped in the past in their time of need, and they're now back on their feet. Our guidelines are simple. For food boxes, a guest has already been screened to qualify for SNAP benefits. Our welcome desk ladies do a brief interview and can get the guest started right away. We can offer supplemental food boxes to them every other week. A person seeking financial assistance will sit down with one of our trained volunteers. There are written guidelines and suggested questions to help the interviewer gather details of the guest's situation. After consulting with a landlord or utility agency, a decision can be made. Occasionally, in the past, we've partnered with another agency in town maybe to help share the costs, but that is not happening at this point. Most of them are out of money. Our guideline, I'm sorry. Now you might ask, how does this all happen? We receive funding from various sources and donations from groups and individuals. St. Vincent relies on grants from individuals and foundations, donations from individuals and businesses, donations from local churches, both monetary and food, USDA subsidized food purchases from Neighbor Impact, and our wonderful volunteers. This year, we have been the beneficiary of several food drives, the mail carriers, Fortis Construction employees, and this month, the Green Bags food drive happened. We benefited from a total of 3,400 pounds of food total that came in through Green Bags, and we share equally that food from Green Bags with Redemption House, who do a very good job in our community. Tonight, we are asking for monetary support from you, City Council, to help fund our programs. We're asking for $50,000. Thank you for considering the needs of St. Vincent's and the people we serve.
Thank you. Is there any questions?
Questions? Yes.
On the contribution, I appreciate all the work that you do with the food and the housing and all of that, but so the 50,000 would go toward operations?
Well, if you're looking at our application, that's probably a case of overthinking the question, the answer. It would go totally toward food and emergency services.
Basically be a pass-through to donation type rather than operational, because and once the money's used up, it's up. You don't
Yes.
have any other ways to go, and your operations funds are from another source.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah.
No other questions?
No,
Thank you.
thank you. Lori, before you get up, I guess I would like to say, I did request to sponsor this. I talked to our city manager. He's not here tonight, but Casey's probably filled in on this. I did talk to him. I reached out. This stems from SNAP benefits not being, or basically our federal government not stepping up and doing their job. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. I was a little irritated that they couldn't come together and at least help our people out. So I reached out to Mr. Forrester at the time. I said, what can we do? And he says, well, let's try to get something on. He talked to St. Vincent de Paul. We got the request in. I was a little concerned. I don't want to set a precedence by that we're just giving out money. And to me, we weren't in this situation. I didn't know what the request was going to come in as. At the time, I just said, what can we do? And saying that, I didn't want to set a precedence as in we're just giving out money. This is for people in our community that need food and need some assistance, and when our federal government failed them. That was my concern here, and that was my goal, was to this wouldn't be a long-term fix, it would be short-term, but it would be helping the people in Kirk County, in our community. And I would hope, I don't know if you've talked to the county, but I would hope they would eventually do something too, but okay, I wanted to do something. So, with that said, I guess Lori can talk to us, but my idea when this came around was $10,000 to $15,000. I don't know. I'm gonna let Lori talk about some options and then let council decide what they.
Good evening, council. Lori Hooper Antrim. I'm the finance director for the record. St. Vincent de Paul has received support from the city in the past, and it's been specifically to help customers that were in danger of losing water and sewer services due to non-payment. The city sent $13,000 5 years ago during the pandemic, and we've recently sent $20,000 for the same utility support. This is going to be the first time that the city has supported St. Vincent de Paul's food bank, and that I know of. And with the state of the economy and the recent government shutdown, I'm sure this type of support is useful for our community. The council gets $19,000, as you can see, that you have for community donations. If the council would prefer, I think that the city could give St. Vincent de Paul a $20,000 donation through the general fund without draining the council's donation funding in the administrative fund, and without having to remove or move too much around for the budgeting purposes. We are in the beginning of this biennium, so I'm a little bit leery about setting a precedence for other nonprofits requesting city support with giving St. Vincent de Paul the full $50,000. The city of Bend their council approved $20,000 donation to their local food bank at the beginning of the month, just to give you a little bit of, context. And if the council was to approve the full request, some decisions are going to need to be made on where that extra funding is going to come from, and a budget adjustment will likely need to be made. I just wanted to give you a little bit of extra information to help you in aiding your decision. Do you have questions of me?
Any questions for Lori?
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
And Rita, I'm going to guess that no matter what we decide tonight, if there was some monetary value, it's going to help, right? Okay. That was my concern. I want to make sure people are getting fed right away. Hopefully the government gets straightened out. Okay. Now I'll open it up to council to discuss. Is there any? Go ahead. Any discussion? in council?
Comment. So I think with all the food insecurities that we have in Crook County and the city of Prineville, I think it's beneficial for us to look at the $20,000 that Lori suggested instead of draining all of our other contributed funds that we could have for the rest of the year. Thank you, Lori, for giving us that option.
Thank you.
And I would think that would be a prudent thing to do. I would support Janet's suggestion.
And Mayor, I appreciate your comment about the government shutdown and what it's done.
Mhm.
And it's easy to forget those things when you don't have the same problems other people do, so.
And I don't think we have to worry about setting a precedent here because we've got a good reason that we're doing this, and it's not something that's gonna happen every year or
Better
every
not.
6 months or whatever. So I think we can justify doing it for that reason.
I agree. And thank you, Lori, for being here to help us kind of make a decision and, know where we're at in that regard.
Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 20,000 to St. Vincent de Paul out of the alternative funding from the general fund that Lori suggested tonight.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Before we vote? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, passed unanimously. Thank you. I hope that helps. I hope that can help our people right away. So, you're welcome. Right, item number 7, Meadow Lakes Clubhouse carpet replacement. I'm not sure. Oh,
Okay.
there's no one telling, it doesn't tell me who to call up, so I figured it.
You knew who. Zach Lampert, Meadow Lakes Golf Course. So in your packet, there's a staff report on Meadow Lakes Clubhouse carpet replacement. So we are in need of new carpet in the clubhouse. It's been on our capital improvement plan for some time now, so it's finally up. We have identified a replacement product manufactured by Forbo. It's called Flotex. It's the same carpet that's in this facility, but a different color. It was also used in the police department building. It's a product that's recommended for institutional and highware buildings, which we certainly would qualify as. The city of Eugene did some work with Rubenstein's Contract Carpet. They're the supplier of this Flotex product for our region, and so they have a cooperative contract that we can hook onto for this product if we go that route. So we have in our budget, we have about $95,000 that was budgeted for clubhouse improvements. It was not all identified for carpet in the budgeting process. We were looking at doing some exterior stuff on our columns, but as we dug into that a little deeper, it looked like the price of that was going to be well outside of our budget. So we're kind of moving that money around a little bit, but it is within our budget. And so just wanted to mention that if you looked at the budget, we only had, I think, I don't know, 40,000 for carpet and 40,000 for columns, but we're not going to be doing the column. So anyways, that's all I have. Any questions?
Would on the spikes on the golf shoes, is that, or do you let people wear spikes inside the clubhouse?
Yes. They have assured me that's no problem. So,
Okay.
inside the doors will be a little bit different product that's a little different, I don't know, surface height, and it is supposed to help knock some of the debris off. But then, the rest will be just like this, but like I said, different color.
Is that original carpet in there?
It's not original. It's the second set of carpet.
Pretty good.
It's done pretty well. It really has, but it's starting to get pretty ugly on the restaurant side. One reason we've identified this product as well is it's tiles, so it's not rolled out carpet. So if we have a major stain, we can replace one section, which is advantageous for us. It's also not the cheapest product out there. I mean, we certainly could find, a cheaper product, but we think that the longevity of this from everything we have done research on will benefit us in the long run. So
you mentioned color a couple of times, that it's not the same color. So what color is it?
well, it's darker. So City Hall friends told us that maybe we wanted to look at a little bit darker shade because of, especially us, lots of grass, lots of leaves this time of year, dirt on your shoes. So it's kind of a multicolored thing, but it's darker. I have a picture of it if you want it, but anyways.
Not Oregon duck green or gold.
It's not green. Nobody wanted green. So in fact, it says Prairie's orange tone. So this will be the first thing orange I have ever purchased in my life.
I appreciate Zach, you and everybody taking time to dig through and being able to piggyback on City of Eugene's contract. That saves us a lot of administration time. And
it does. I have to thank James for that. He helped me, kind of pointed me in the right direction on that.
And it's great that you can replace the squares if they're stained instead of if it's a rolled carpet, that you can't do the same. So that's awesome.
Yep. Yes.
Is staining a big issue?
What's
Is
that? I'm
that-
sorry.
Is staining a big risk for that product?
Well, no, so this is, it's, very adverse to staining. So it's hard to stain it. But, and it's easy to clean. They have a process. I'm sure Lisa's read up on that, on how to clean a stain on it, and it's supposed to work really well. But if we do have something major, it's easy to replace one. Well, maybe not easy, but it's possible to replace a section.
So, it says that, installation would be expected to be scheduled roughly 10 weeks from the order date.
Yep.
Does that mean, how long would the process take? Is that going to put you in your downtime to where it's minimal impact for your business?
Yeah, so we've been working on this, trying to get it done quick because we want to get it replaced in the winter months.
Gotcha.
They don't have enough of the product on hand at the moment, so if you guys approve, then we give them the PO, they can order it. 10 weeks from that is when they would be able to do the install. So we're looking at 1st of February. Up to 5 days for the install. They can do it sort of piece by piece. So we would start in the banquet room, get everything out of there into the restaurant, do the banquet room, then get all the restaurant stuff into the banquet room while they do that. And then they can get back open. We'll be open that whole time in the golf shop and then do the golf shop at that point. So kind of a phased approach so we can not have too much downtime. That's, we could be under snow. We could not be. The restaurant, I'm trying to be, take care of them, not have to have them down too long. So, but it's certainly better if we can do it in the winter than later.
Zach, I have to have one more question.
Okay. You guys don't get, I need to come in more than you don't have to ask me.
Is the current carpet glued down or is it stretched?
Glued, I believe. They get to deal with all that, not me. So.
I do have a question. So will all be, the entire batch will be ordered as a single unit, so we won't have multiple, we'll have the same lot number. For the
Yeah.
same batch, so it'll be a consistent color instead of,
Yep.
gee, it was that shade and now this is a different lot number, it's a different shade, so.
Correct. And our quote includes a little bit of overage for the extra on hand if we need to replace. So it also includes the base detail. So our current carpet goes up the side of the wall about 6 inches around the base. So this product won't do that. So it'll be like a black rubber base detail. So that's all I have. I don't know anything else. You've asked all of it. I don't know. So if you're so inclined, we would recommend that council approves to issue a notice of intent to award the purchase of Meadow Lakes Clubhouse carpet replacement to Rubenstein's Contract Carpet in the amount of $82,155 per the cooperative purchasing agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passed unanimously.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
So item 7A, discussion of cancellation of the second December meeting.
Yes, that would be December 23rd would be our regularly scheduled meeting. Typically, we do cancel at least the council has canceled that second meeting of December since it's during Christmas week. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 9th. This was a request to be put on today's calendar, and a good request because if the council does decide to cancel its December 23rd regular meeting, it's easier for you all to plan to be out that week if you do have Christmas plans. So that was the rationale behind bringing it up tonight rather than waiting until December 9th. And so it would, if somebody would like to make a motion, the motion would be to move to cancel the December 23rd, 2025 regular council meeting. Obviously, there could be a potential to have a special meeting if need be, but the regular meeting itself would be canceled for that day.
I'll move to cancel the December 23rd meeting. Yeah, I'll move to cancel it.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, that meeting is canceled. Thank you, Jared.
You're welcome.
Staff reports and requests, city manager's report, Mr. Kaiser.
Good evening, council. For the record, Casey Kaiser, City Prineville Public Works Director, Assistant City Manager. We'll start out with the public safety and dispatch side. On our dispatch team, we have one of our dispatchers who's moving into a role as a police officer, but we have a new dispatch candidate that just finished their background check and is moving forward in the process. And then also they're doing the first review of the call taker applicants, and they have 24 candidates. It looks like 24 qualified candidates that'll be moving forward in that process. On the PD side, they finished up their quarterly defensive tactics training this week, and they're conducting, or today they conducted lateral candidate interviews as well. So as a reminder to council, we have one more position to fill on the PD side. So that's looking positive there. The operations plans have been completed for the annual lighted Christmas parade. That's coming up for anyone on council that's interested. As usual, that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So it's Saturday, November 29th. And then the fundraising for the annual Shop with a Cop is going well. And I'd like to remind everyone that it's not too late to make donations. So those can be made up at the PD or follow the Facebook page for more options on making donations. On our public works side, our projects are kind of winding down for the year for the most part. We do have some infrastructure being completed in a small subdivision out in the Iron Horse development area. Our ASR2 well, which is an injection and recovery well, it's one of the next significant projects in our ASR system. That is under construction. Parts are ordered for that currently, and we're still anticipating completion in time for the high summer demand water season coming up. We also just started the process of the permitting for our ASR source well. So that'll be down in the Crooked River well field. We're anticipating about a year, 1 to 2 years worth of a permitting process on that. As council remembered, I think you just authorized the award for the contract for that work at the last council meeting. Then the team is just continuing to prep our systems and equipment for the winter, making sure that everything's heated, all of our well houses, all the heating is working and everything, and all our equipment's ready for, we keep hearing that this is going to be a bad snow year and we're about due for one. So on the railroad side, October was a very strong month for the railroad, mostly due to new business with some additional barley cars, which was nice to have that strong October. And then Matt's got his new hire, Chris Fisher, started Monday out at the railroad. So please join me in welcoming Chris to the team. I'm sure Matt's happy to be getting him up and running. Out at Meadow Lakes Golf, they finished up their annual irrigation blowout maintenance for the winter and installed new tee signs. And out at Meadow Lakes, October was a good month as well, and the course remains relatively busy with the warmer weather that we've had this year. And I understand the annual turkey shoot tournament was a success again this year as well. On the planning side, applications have slowed down, but development continues for applications that have already been approved. The commercial complex up on top of the hill across from the Humane Society is almost complete. I don't know how many of you have driven by that, but that's a pretty good looking. So that's that new restaurant and store, that little commercial center up there. So that's looking really nice, and that'll be a nice addition to our industrial area. On the human resources side, Carrie continues to be busy with recruitment efforts across various departments for filling some vacancies and retirements. On the IT side, IT staff is working with some of our team members here at City Hall on the revamp of our website. That'll give our website a fresh new look, and then also it's updating the formats to make it much more user-friendly. On the finance side, as most of you probably know at this point, the city has received the GFOA Distinguished Budget Award and received special recognition for strategic goals and strategies. We are in the top 8% nationally, which is pretty exciting. So excellent work to Lori and her team. And then lastly, on the front of strategy and economic development, Caroline continues to pursue all available grant options, and those aren't quite as copious now as they were a year ago, but she continues to pursue those diligently and take advantage of all the opportunities that we come across. One notable one is we are just still waiting on the notice from ODOT for the grant that we got for the electric vehicle. So just as a reminder to council, we're anticipating 3 electric pickup trucks, one for our IT department, one for the PD, and then one for the railroad. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Casey, I just, for clarification, because this has been said in the past, the ODOT, the 3 pickups came from federal funding, not state funding.
Yeah, that's my
That's been a
understanding.
sore subject for a while, so I just wanted to clear that, make sure that we recognize that.
Yeah.
Any questions for Casey? Thank you.
So I want to thank Lori though for her diligence and keeping up with the budget award that we've been getting for 8 years. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. Any reports from the council members?
Yes. Only just to say that I did attend the annual Korea meeting. I was reelected to the board of directors for another
No, you're good.
year,
I messed up.
for another 3 years. Anyway, there were some enlightening comments about the trouble that Pacific Power is dealing with. And probably one of the most striking comments was because of the additional demands for electricity, electrical power, and the fact that there is not much more being generated, we can anticipate that there are going to be brownouts in Oregon for cities, and they will, as Lakeview has experienced, they're going to be multi-day brownouts, potentially up to 2 weeks for a community. So it's scary. And I'm saying that because I think, we talked about the biomass, and I think that from my standpoint, we need to be aggressive in getting that project cited and moving forward. So that's for another discussion, but I just wanted to say that's what I am gleaning from the community renewable energy folks and the comments that I'm getting back from them along the same line. So they're saying go for it.
Steve, so did they say the reason for the brownouts, or is it just standard operation, or?
There's not enough power to provide electricity for all of the requests. So we can anticipate probably a 60% increase in the next 2 years of demand, but we don't have 60% additional energy being generated. So how is that going to happen? And the only way for that to happen is to cut somebody off temporarily while they're filling other needs. So it has started.
BPA doesn't have, PP&L cannot go to BPA and ask for additional.
It goes through other hands.
Huh?
It goes through various and sundry agencies that have contracts with Bonneville to provide power. So, Pacific Power has allocations, as do so many other agencies and entities. So
Thank you.
it's just something that we're going to have to work with and through. And the question is, how can we position Prineville best moving forward to have the minimal adverse impact of the shortage of electricity that's being faced nationally? Texas has had brownouts already.
Mhm.
Several days of brownouts, especially during the heat periods in the summer when they have so much cooling systems, so many cooling systems, air conditioning systems running. So that's just the fact.
Same with California.
California as well, yes. So
Well, thank you for sitting on that board and keeping us informed and
it's
trying to get them moving in the right direction.
a little scary, but it is what it is.
Maybe we could encourage the state to, instead of tearing down hydroelectric dams, maybe that could be another avenue of more power production.
Those are federal regulations that they're working on. But we could add power generation to Bowman Dam with a little state legislative recommendation, so.
Sounds like you've got a plan.
Of course. But
Lori,
we're
I'm
up-
very sorry. Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we have a short session coming up, so this will not be the year. Anyhow, my apologies, Laurie, I.
Nope,
didn't mean to-
I completely went right over it. So I'll go back to item number 9, quarterly financial report, Lori Hooper Antrim.
Thank you. He's got it. So real quick, this was a pretty fun quarter to look back at all the pictures with all of the ribbon cuttings from July, well, mostly in July, but with the Combs Flat and the Humane Society and then the Verticart being introduced, and it was pretty fun to write this report and just look back at all the pictures. With that said, Lori Hooper Antrim, the finance director for the record, and I'm here to give you your quarterly report. All city funds combined, the first quarter fund balances increased approximately $672,000. Funds making a significant negative impact on fund balance were the general fund, decreasing approximately 9%, largely due to the timing in which property taxes are received. The water SDC fund decreased due to capital projects, and then the public works service fund decreased due to capital equipment purchases and the annual street sweeper payment being made. I'll talk a little bit more about the railroad in more detail further in the presentation. Funds that had a positive impact to the fund balance during the first quarter included the transportation fund, with capital projects starting in the second quarter, the wastewater SDC fund with the SDC collection for 17 residential and 1 commercial start. And then they also had very little expenses during the quarter, so that increased their fund balance. The airport fund transitioned to a contract manager, and the administrative fund, plaza fund, and building facilities increased all due to budgeted transfers. Are there questions before I move on to the general fund? General fund revenues are roughly 19% of the FY26 budget, or $2.6 million. Transient lodging tax is roughly 38% of the annual budget, and overall franchise fees are roughly 24%, with quarter collection coming in at approximately $2.2 million. First quarter police expenditures were 25% of the budget, or approximately $2 million, with 2 open positions that were filled during the quarter. Non-departmental budget is tracking at 30% for the first quarter, with $24,000 being spent on street lighting, $71,000 in transient lodging taxes to the chamber, and $884,000 in transfers to support planning, streets, airport, administrative services, and the building facilities. Overall general fund expenditures were 15% of the annual budget at quarter end, and the fund balance decreased roughly $1 million. This slide shows general fund beginning fund balance trends over the last 10 years. For FY26, beginning fund balance is estimated at $10.9 million. In the last 2 years, the fund balance has increased approximately $7.6 million, largely due to significant increases in electrical franchise fees. First quarter delinquent property tax collection came in at $17,000, which is down $15,000 compared to the prior year. There were no current property taxes collected during the first quarter. Current taxes will come in November during the second quarter. Overall franchise fee collection increased over the prior year due to electrical franchise fees. Natural gas came in at $16,000, cable TV came in at $13,000, and the electrical franchise fees were roughly $2.2 million in the first quarter, which is an improvement of $283,000 over the prior year at quarter end. Transient lodging taxes are up in comparison to the first quarter prior year. First quarter collection totaled $191,000. Are there questions about the general fund? Okay. Transportation fund revenues are 24% of the annual budget, or roughly $554,000. Intergovernmental revenues are at 22% of the annual budget, and total expenditures are 12% of the budget at the end of the first quarter, or roughly $352,000. Fund balance increased $202,000 through the quarter, largely due to the capital street improvement projects not starting until the second quarter. And you can kind of see that right here. Beginning fund balance trends for the transportation fund show a decrease of approximately $146,000 from FY25 to FY26 due to $916,000 in capital projects being completed in the prior fiscal year. Beginning fund balance for FY26 is roughly $693,000.
Lori, were some of those capital improvement projects scheduled for this year and we completed them early, or it's just how it played out last year?
No. Can you talk about that, Casey?
It was just the timing of our standard capital improvement project. So those projects got completed very close to the end of the budget period.
Yeah, which is why there were none in the first. Normally they carry over, but they didn't this time. State gas taxes up slightly in the first quarter, just by a couple $1,000s compared to the prior year. Are there other questions about the transportation fund? We're going to move on to the railroad. Overall railroad revenue is 10% of the annual budget for the first quarter end, totaling roughly $325,000. All regular revenue sources are right around where they normally are at quarter end, but we're still waiting on the Chrissy grant contract, which is driving the percentage down, which is this right here. This is what's driving that 10%. The railroad charges for services in the first quarter were $94,000. Freight depot charges for services totaled roughly $168,000, and total expenditures are at 11% at quarter end. Materials and services are tracking at 51% of the annual budget, with annual insurance payments of $145,000 paid in the first quarter. There was a fire at the freight depot facility during the first quarter and damages are still being assessed. Capital expenditures during the first quarter were for track improvements that were largely needed for the derailment that happened earlier in the summer. Fund balance decreased roughly $144,000 through the first quarter. Beginning fund balance for the railroad increased over the prior year due to management doing a great job managing expenses to revenues. For FY26, the starting fund balance was $1.1 million. This slide shows a 5-year comparison of operating revenue by type. As you can see, there are increases in freight revenue, freight depot revenue, and miscellaneous in comparison to the prior year. Freight cars are up by 19 in comparison to the prior year at quarter end, and that's partially due to the barley commodity being brought in by the railroad, and this new commodity made up 31% of the railroad haulage in quarter one. The profit and loss statement shows a total profit for operations in the first quarter at approximately $69,000. That's down here, bottom. In July, miscellaneous revenue was received for the annual lease revenue for fiber optic easements, and the August sale of tax credits is what made up miscellaneous revenue right here. Are there questions about the railroad? Up next is golf. Golf revenue for the first quarter is 40% of the annual budget, with total revenues coming in at 37% of the annual budget. Meadow Lakes continues to have record-breaking quarters in terms of revenue. Expenditures overall are tracking at 22% of the annual budget, with the golf course at 29%, which includes $58,000 in capital expenditures for equipment. The golf course maintenance is at 31%, and the leased restaurant is at 26%, and the fund balance increased $99,000 through the first quarter. Beginning fund balance for the golf course increased over the prior year slightly, with $246,000 in capital expenses in the prior year. FY 26 starting balance is at roughly $1.1 million. First quarter charges for services show improvement over the prior year of approximately $81,000, totaling roughly $612, making $612,000, making it another record-breaking quarter for Zach, as previously mentioned. Golf activity revenues are up in comparison to the prior year in all major categories. The profit and loss statement of operations show a profit in all 3 months of the quarter, with quarter profits totaling $168,000. Are there questions about the golf fund? Real quick, I wanted to give a brief update about our FY 25 audit. The numbers are looking really good, and the auditors told me that they're going to try and get their audited numbers to me to review this week. As of right now, it looks like the financial statements will be completed on time by December 31st. That was your quarterly report. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question just out of curiosity. It's probably more for Zach. Are you seeing a trend toward any particular age group as it continues to, is it, you're seeing more retirement age people or?
We're up, I would say, across the board, but higher increases in the working aged golfers. We are, there's Prineville's grown. There's, retirees that have moved into the area that are new customers for us. So we're seeing a little bit of increase there, but I'd say it's more with our daily play, like green fee payers, not the annual memberships as much. That's been the biggest growth area, but that's kind of nationwide, I would say.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Lori.
All right.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
So I'll go back to council reports. Are there any other council members that have any?
Actually, there was one other comment that I would like to share
Yeah.
from the Korea meeting. We had a county commissioner from Lake County who was there today, and in his report, he said he left his wife at home with no power in their house because of the power shortage issues down there with Pacific Power. He spoke with a member of the Pacific Power staff and said, "What do I need to do?" And he was told, "Buy a generator for your house." So those are the kind of recommendations to anticipate down the road. So we need to take action.
No, Steve, that makes it even more unusual that there's this trying to put this new power line in and get power to the grid. Well, that's all coal coming out of Utah, as I understand. So here the battle goes on, and that coal fired is primitive. So kind of believe that Shane's got the right idea.
It's also more expensive because they have to rejuvenate the coal-fired mills that are quite expensive to get up and running again.
Which we have none of in the state of Oregon
No.
anymore.
You're right. So
Nuclear.
Yeah, absolutely.
anyway.
All right. Thank you, Steve. No ordinances or resolutions. Would anybody in the audience like to speak to us before we adjourn tonight? Jason, I haven't picked on you for a while. You got anything to say? Okay.
Good answer.
Is there anybody on Zoom or the phone? Yeah. All right. No one wants to come up or speak to us. I'm open to a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.